People often used to ask Ray Dalio, "Ray, how did you make so much money?" And he gave them an answer they didn't usually like. He didn't make money because he wanted to make money. He made money because he followed principles that work in life, principles that clarify decisions, principles that show you who you are and what you value. Money was just a byproduct. That sounds simple, but most people don't understand it. They see money as the end goal, and when you make money the goal, you're never satisfied, because numbers have no end point. You want $100,000, you get it. Then you want $500,000, you get it. Then $1 million, then $10 million. Where does it end? It never does. But if money is a tool for you, a resource that gives you freedom, that lets you achieve purpose, then the game changes entirely. Today I'm going to show you how wealthy people see money. It's an identity shift that transforms your relationship with wealth. And when this shift happens, wealth follows naturally. Let's begin. Ray Dalio worked on a trading floor in the 1970s, and every day he watched people chase money. They thought more money would make them happy. More money would make them successful. More money would earn them respect. But he noticed a pattern. The more money they made, the more they wanted. Got a $50,000 bonus. They felt good for 2 days. Then they started thinking, my colleague got $100,000. Why am I behind? It's a treadmill. Psychologists call it the hedonic treadmill. You keep running, but you never reach a destination. I've seen this myself. Doctors earning $500,000 a year who are stressed, who feel broke. Why? Because their lifestyle costs $600,000. Big house, expensive car, elite school for the kids. Money comes in, money goes out, and there's no peace because they made money the goal. Ray Dalio tells a story about a fund manager he knew, brilliant mind, made $2 million a year, but he was never happy. Why? Because his friends were making $5 million and his neighbor had a $10 million net worth. He wasn't living by his own standards. He was living by comparison, and comparison never ends. One day this manager asked Ray, "Ray, how do you stay so calm after making so much money?" Ray told him, "Because for me, money isn't a scoreboard." The manager didn't understand the concept. His entire identity was tied to money. In his mind, money equals success, money equals self-worth, money equals validation. And when your identity is tied to money, you're never free because you constantly have to prove yourself. To yourself, to your friends, to the world. Your net worth becomes your self-worth. That's the trap, and many people fall into it. Ray Dalio understood early that money is a tool, like a hammer is a tool for a carpenter. The hammer itself isn't the goal. It's used to build something. Money is the same. It gives you freedom. It gives you options. It gives you time, but money itself isn't the purpose. When I learned this principle from Ray's work, everything changed for me. I made decisions differently. I understood risk differently. I defined success differently. This is an identity shift, and this shift attracts wealth rather than chasing it. Let me show you how this shift happens. There's a concept Ray Dalio teaches at Bridgewater. Pain plus reflection equals progress. But most people skip the reflection part. They just feel the pain, react emotionally, and keep repeating the same mistakes. The reason? They haven't defined their identity. They don't know who they are at their core. When you don't know your identity, you define yourself by external measures, your job title, your salary, your possessions, what people think of you. But those things are activities, not identity. Let me give you an example. I know a very successful lawyer, top firm, partner track, $400,000 a year on paper. He's winning. But when I asked him, "Who are you?" he said, "I'm a lawyer." That's not identity. That's activity. I asked, "If you weren't a lawyer tomorrow, who would you be?" He couldn't answer because his entire sense of self was tied to what he does, not who he is. And that's dangerous because what you do can be taken away. The economy crashes. Your firm downsizes. Your health fails. Suddenly, your identity collapses. Wealthy people don't make this mistake. They separate identity from activity. They know, I am someone who values freedom, who seeks understanding, who builds systems that last. That's identity. The money they make, that's just the result of living by those values. Ray Dalio learned this lesson early. When he started Bridgewater, he didn't start it to get rich. He started it because he wanted to understand how markets work. He wanted to test his principles. He wanted to build something meaningful. Money came as a result, but it was never the reason. And because money wasn't his identity, he could take risks. He could fail without falling apart. He could make bold decisions because he wasn't protecting an ego. He was testing principles. That's freedom. When you tie your identity to money, every loss feels like a personal attack. Every market down feels like you're losing yourself. But when money is just a tool, losses are just data, feedback, information you use to improve. This is the shift wealthy people make. They stop asking, how much am I worth? And start asking, what am I building? What principles guide me? What legacy will I leave? Those questions change everything. Here's a paradox Ray Dalio discovered. The more you chase money, the harder it is to get. The more you focus on purpose, the more money flows. I've seen this play out thousands of times. People who obsess over money make short-term decisions. They take the highest-paying job, even if they hate it. They chase trends. They cut corners. They optimize for the next paycheck. And they burn out, or they plateau, or they lose everything in one bad bet. But people who focus on purpose, who ask, what problem am I solving? What value am I creating? They build something durable, and durable things compound. Let me tell you about Ray Dalio's journey. In the 1980s, Bridgewater almost went bankrupt. He made bad predictions. He lost clients. He had to let go of his entire team. He was broke, personally, financially, and emotionally. At that moment, he had two choices. He could chase money, take any job that paid well, and try to recover fast. Or he could reflect, learn from his mistakes, and rebuild on stronger principles. He chose the second path, not because he was noble, but because he realized money wasn't going to solve his real problem. His real problem was that his decision-making process was flawed. So he spent years refining his principles. He built systems. He tested ideas. He documented what worked and what didn't. Money wasn't the focus. Understanding was the focus. And you know what happened? Once he had clarity, once his principles were solid, the money came back, bigger than before because he wasn't chasing it. He was building something real. That's the paradox. Money chases value. It doesn't chase desire. If you create real value, if you solve real problems, if you build systems that work, money will find you. But if you just want money, if that's your only motivation, you'll struggle because people can sense when you're only in it for yourself. I've met entrepreneurs who talk about their mission, their vision, their purpose. But when you dig deeper, it's all about the exit, the IPO, payday. Those businesses rarely last because when things get hard, and they always get hard, those founders quit. They don't have a deeper reason to keep going. But the founders who are genuinely obsessed with the problem they're solving, they push through, they adapt, they endure, and eventually they win. Not because they're smarter, but because their purpose is stronger than their desire for money. Let me ask you a question. What do you actually want from money? Most people haven't thought about this deeply. They just know they want more. But more what? More freedom, more security, more respect, more experiences? Because here's the truth. Money can buy some of those things, but not all of them. Money can buy freedom from a bad job, but it can't buy freedom from anxiety if you're constantly worried about losing it. Money can buy security for your family, but it can't buy security from your own insecurities. Money can buy respect from strangers, but it can't buy self-respect if you've compromised your values to get it. Ray Dalio has said he's met billionaires who are miserable, trapped by their wealth. They can't trust anyone. They don't know who their real friends are. They're constantly worried about being used or losing what they have. That's not freedom. That's a golden cage. Real freedom comes from knowing what enough is, comes from having clarity about what you value. It comes from building a life where money serves your purpose, not the other way around. Ray Dalio made a decision early on. He decided that beyond a certain point, more money wouldn't make him happier. So he stopped optimizing for money, and he started optimizing for meaningful work, for learning, for relationships. And you know what? He became wealthier, not because he was trying, but because he was focused on things that actually mattered. There's a concept in Stoic philosophy. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Most people get this backward. They think, once I have $10 million, I'll be happy. But they get to $10 million and realize they now want $50 million, and the cycle never ends. But if you define enough, if you know what's truly important to you, you can achieve freedom long before you achieve massive wealth. I've seen people retire comfortably on $2 million because they live simply, they know what they value, and they're not comparing themselves to anyone. And I've seen people with $50 million who are still anxious, still chasing more, still feeling like it's not enough. The difference isn't the number, it's the mindset. Here's something most people don't think about until it's too late. What happens to your money when you die? I don't mean estate planning. I mean, what did you use your money for while you were alive? Because at the end, nobody cares how much you accumulated. They care about what you built, what you contributed, how you impacted the people around you. Ray Dalio has thought about this deeply. He's made more money than he could ever spend. So for him, the question isn't, how do I make more? The question is, what do I do with what I have? And that's when money becomes truly meaningful, when it's a tool for something bigger than yourself. Ray Dalio has committed most of his wealth to philanthropy, not because he's trying to look good, but because he's realized that the best use of money is to solve problems that matter. Education, opportunity, understanding, those are the things that create lasting value. When you shift from accumulation to contribution, something powerful happens. You stop worrying about what you don't have. You start focusing on what you can give. And ironically, that mindset attracts even more wealth because people want to work with givers, not takers. They want to invest in people who are building something meaningful, not just extracting value. I've seen this in business. The companies that obsess over quarterly earnings often struggle. The companies that obsess over serving customers, solving real problems, creating value, those companies thrive because the market rewards contribution, not extraction. The same is true for individuals. If your only goal is to take, to accumulate, to hoard, you'll hit a ceiling. People will stop trusting you. Opportunities will dry up. But if your goal is to give, to build, to contribute, you'll find doors opening that you didn't even know existed. That's the paradox again. The more you give, the more you receive, not because of karma or cosmic justice, but because contribution creates compounding value in ways that accumulation never does. So how do you make this shift? How do you move from seeing money as the goal to seeing it as a tool? It starts with one question. What do I want my life to be about? How much do I want to make? What do I want to buy? What do I want to stand for? When Ray Dalio asks people this, most of them struggle because they've never thought about it. They've been so busy chasing money that they forgot to ask. But once you answer that question, everything else becomes clear. If you want your life to be about freedom, then you optimize for flexibility, not salary. You build skills that give you options. You avoid debt. You live below your means. If you want your life to be about impact, then you focus on solving problems, not making money. You build businesses or join missions that matter. Money becomes a measure of value created, not the goal itself. If you want your life to be about learning, then you take risks that teach you, even if they don't pay well initially, because the knowledge compounds and eventually, that knowledge becomes extremely valuable. The shift isn't complicated, but it requires honesty. It requires you to stop lying to yourself about what you really want. Most people say they want freedom, but they live like slaves to their expenses. They say they want impact, but they optimize for paychecks. They say they want meaning, but they spend their time on things that don't matter. The shift happens when you align your actions with your values. When money becomes the tool, not the master. And once that happens, wealth follows. Not because you're chasing it, but because you're building something worth having. Let me give you something practical, something you can use today. Ray Dalio built his entire life around principles. Not rules, principles. There's a difference. Rules tell you what to do in specific situations. Principles tell you how to think in any situation. Here's one of Ray Dalio's core principles. Truth, or more precisely, an accurate understanding of reality, is the essential foundation for any good outcome. What does that mean for money? It means you have to be brutally honest with yourself about what you want, about what you're good at, about what you're willing to sacrifice. Most people lie to themselves. They say they want financial freedom, but they're not willing to delay gratification. They say they want to build wealth, but they're not willing to learn how money actually works. That's not honesty, that's fantasy. Another principle Ray Dalio teaches: pain plus reflection equals progress. When you lose money, when an investment goes wrong, when you make a mistake, that's not failure, that's information. But only if you reflect on it. Only if you ask, what did I miss? What can I learn? How do I avoid this in the future? Most people don't do this. They just feel the pain and move on. So they repeat the same mistakes over and over. Wealthy people treat mistakes like gold because mistakes teach you what reality actually is, not what you wish it would be. One more principle from Ray Dalio. Meaningful work and meaningful relationships are what matter most. Money supports those things, but it's not those things. If you're sacrificing meaningful work for a paycheck, you're trading your life for money, and that's a bad deal. If you're sacrificing relationships for wealth, you're going to be rich and alone. Also a bad deal. The shift happens when you get your priorities straight. Money is a tool. Use it to build a life worth living. Don't let it become the life itself. Let me leave you with this. Money is a tool, a very powerful tool, but like any tool, it's only as good as how you use it. You can use it to build, or you can let it control you. Ray Dalio taught me that the wealthiest people aren't the ones with the most money. They're the ones who figured out what money is for. Freedom, purpose, contribution, legacy. That's what money should serve. Not your ego, not your insecurities, not your need for validation. So ask yourself, what is money for in my life? Answer that question honestly, and everything else will fall into place.